Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Can we talk with Monique? I am Monique. Thank you so much for joining me for this podcast. Please, before we get started, please remember to like, thumbs up, like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. This lets YouTube know that you're interested in what I have to say. And thank you so much to all my new subscribers. So let's get right into it. This podcast is entitled The Charming Narcissist. So, as you know, a lot of us here on YouTube who have endured, may still be in, coming out of, been out of relationships with toxic individuals, maybe someone who is on the spectrum of narcissistic personality disorder, narcissism, maybe someone who's a sociopath, don't know. But a lot of us on this platform, we listen to other YouTubers speak about narcissism. And a lot of us learned what we were dealing with by listening to some of the YouTube stories and learning, right? And so I was listening to a video today, and I really like to listen to her because there are several YouTubers I do listen to. And I was listening to one in particular. Let me see if I can find it. But she is a therapist with many years under her belt, and her specialty is giving therapy to people who have who have been in relationships with narcissists. And I'm looking for her, and her name, hold on one second. I'm listening to it now. Her name is Dr. Ramani, and I'll spell it Ramani. Check her out. She has a wonderful podcast. Really great podcast. Really great channel. Please go over to her channel and subscribe. I would say I listen to her. I listen to inner integrations. I listened to a few people. When I first started on the YouTube platform, I listened to several, but I guess you got to kind of find your tribe and what kind of works for you. And that's what I did. I kind of, just listened to people, and what resonated with me is what I, chose, whittle it down. Because in the beginning I was subscribed to many, I don't want to say many, but probably 6 to 7 channels. And as I healed and progressed, I kind of whittled my way down to maybe 2 or 3. I do listen to Associate Direct, Inner Integrations. Dr. Ramani is really one of my favorites because she's really to the point. And her content is really good, right? So for her, on one of her episodes, and I'm not sure which one. Now, this is coming from someone who counsels and gives therapy to people who have been, who are survivors. But I also think that she has counseled those who are the actual predators, the narcissists and those toxic individuals. And she said, and I can't quote her specifically, but if she's in a room, because these are predators, they size you up. And she said if she's in a room and she comes across someone who's very charming, she used that word charming, she said run. She runs. She says, because what happens is that's how a lot of these toxic individuals kind of capture you. She said if she comes across, if it's at a gathering, a restaurant, and this person just comes across as, oh my God, this person is so charming, she just goes in the opposite direction. She says she runs. And I thought that was so hilarious and so funny. But that's a word to the wise is sufficient, because in order for these individuals to even capture you or get in your life, they have to do something. And one of the first things they do outside of the love bombing is just to be very charming. And so I laugh because it's like, well, yeah, you got to do something to get people to, fall under your spell, so to speak, right? And so when I thought back to some of the people I encountered, it was true. They had this thing about them that made you say, oh my gosh, that was so nice of them. That was really, 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 really cool. That's when you need to step back. So how many of us have met these charming individuals? She gave examples of, you go out to dinner and this person lays down their credit card and says, no, I'll get it. I'll get the meal for everybody. And you're like, well, that was really nice of this person. And those are the instances, guys, where it just taught me that when you see something, just to give it some time and to watch and, as the Bible say, pray and watch. And so just from her saying that, she said, if the person is charming, she'll run halfway across the room. She don't want no parts of it. And so that's how we have to, we don't want to be overly guarded. But if somebody comes across as just so charming, watch them. We're living in, she said it herself, she says she gets a lot of flack because she feels that this is very rampant, and she is very dedicated to helping people understand who they're with, and what the choices are. And she has a book that it's called, I think, Should I Stay or Should I Go? And she says she never tells people to leave the narcissist or toxic person or sociopath or what have you. She just gives them the facts as to, well, this is what's going to happen, X, Y, and Z, and it's up to that person to do that. But I thought it was very interesting to find that charming, very charming individuals. And even, it's so funny, I did a podcast before on Ted Bundy, who was a serial killer. And it's funny, one of the things that people said, well, he was so charming. So that in and of itself, not that everybody that's charming, because there's some people who are, but you have to think that these individuals have to put something forth to even capture you, to get you to even think like, oh my gosh, and that's the other thing. She said, they know how to work a room. So they are very into body language, facial expressions. Oh my God, they can read people. That's how they do. And that's why I really do think Grey Rock, I'm going to do an upload on it, but I really do think Grey Rock is really an important thing to learn in this world. How to Grey Rock. How just not to have any emotion, because then they can't read you. They don't know. They're very good at reading body language and facial expressions. Let me tell you one thing. One of the people in my life that I was dealing with is a male, and he took pictures of me frowning, and he would always, I thought it was the weirdest thing. And he was like, oh, let me take a picture. And I'm like, who does that? And he would always try to show me this picture, even though I didn't like the picture. I was like, why would somebody want to take a picture of somebody who was frowning? He was like, yeah, I got this picture of you. And I was like, that. It was because he was studying. That was something that he was looking for. So if my forehead ever got in that little crinkle, he would know that I was upset or I was perturbed. So he actually took a picture of it. I'm sure he studied. This is how sick some of these people are, because I could not, for the life of me back then, I didn't understand. I was like, why would this person keep a picture? And he showed it to me several times and would bring it out and be like, you see them wrinkles in your forehead? He studied my facial expressions. So guys, charming people, if people are just so charming and they just kind of capture your heart from the beginning, slow down, watch and observe. Because eventually these people, their mask always slips. I mean, some of them can keep the mask on, but for so long. But, they get tired after a while and they just let it all hang out as to who they really are. But I thought that to be very interesting. She is well educated, well versed. She counsels and gives therapy to people. And she said if she comes across somebody who's charming, she gets her pocketbook and runs a crap way across the room. She don't want no parts of it, because she already knows underneath that facade of that charmingness could be the devil himself, right? So that's why I entitled this The Charming Narcissist. And also, like I said, I am going to do, because a lot of us, these narcissists and toxic people, they know that a lot of us can become emotional and reactive, and that's what they like to feed on. And so when the gray rock thing, it's important for us to learn that technique. And I'm going to do some more research, because I don't just want to give basic surface information. I want to go a little and delve a little bit deeper, right? Because these people, they have to get that emotion out of you. And like I said, that person took a picture, and he was like, oh, I got this picture of your forehead with those wrinkles in it, which you frown. And I was like, well, why would you take a picture of that? Erase that. I thought he did. Then sometime later, he showed me the picture again. A normal person doesn't do that. He studied that picture. So probably even if I got a little crinkle in my forehead, he was like, oh, good, I'm getting at her. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting her. This is bothering her. So because a normal person is not going to have a picture of your forehead and tell you that, you know, I have a picture of your forehead with your wrinkles. You know how you frown with your frown lines in it. That's just not normal. And like I said, I looked at some other videos, and they do study your body language, how you slightly move when you're upset. You know, you might do something with your arm or start picking your fingers, or your lip might curl the other way. They look at all those little nuances to see if they're getting at you. I know it's sick, it's twisted, but you know, and that's why we have to learn these techniques. Not so much, you know, it might be for somebody in your household. Hopefully you guys can get away from these toxic people, but it could be somebody at work. You know, you may have to gray rock them. You know, I think it's a good thing to learn. Just no effect. As you know, being a nurse, we used to call it flat affect. Just nothing. You don't see no frown, no, It's like, is anybody in there? Are you there? Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? So it's like you don't give anybody a response. They don't get a rise out of you. They don't get anything. It's just flat. You're like, oh, so the sky is gray today. I think I'll go and wash my hair. Oh, you said the house is burning down? Oh, did you? I guess we need to call 911. I'm just joking about that, but I'm just saying, just not letting them get a rise out of you. But these people, they study the language. And for those of us who have been, you know, raised by narcissistic, toxic parents, or have come out of a situation like this, like they can read you. You know, these are predators. They prey on individuals. So there's certain cues and certain things you say, and probably certain ways we carry our body. And you know, I realize they're narcissists and toxic people, and probably some of those people in my life that sit and watch my videos. Well, good luck to them. You know, that's what they do. This is a part of their makeup. But definitely, if a person comes on, you know, and if you've been watching these videos for a while and watching other people, if a person is coming on so strong and so fast, and it's just laying it on you and charming the crap out of you, because they got to get you some way. If somebody comes up to you and they're just regular, average, normal, they don't really make an impact on you. Right? They got to get you some kind of way. They got to be nice to you. They got to do something. But I learned that nice don't mean that you're a good person. If you look up the definition of nice, you'll realize it doesn't really mean what it means. Right? So I don't give a crap if somebody's being nice to me. Who are you really? What is your character? What's your fruit? You know what I'm saying? That's what I look at. I look at what the fruit of the person, what they produced. And if they've not produced anything, I don't want no parts. Okay? I don't want no parts. The fruit don't lie. If you're rotten, you're going to produce rotten fruit. So I don't care what nobody tells me. You could tell me all day long, this, that, and the other. What are your fruit? And only some ways sometimes you're going to know if they're fruit. Sometimes it's to give it some time. But again, in the beginning, you know, some of these people want to lay it on strong, and it's not normal when you're getting to know people and you're in a relationship. It's not normal. The normal progression of a relationship is it takes time. But if somebody's just coming on so strong and charming, well, I don't know what's going on with okay. I don't know what's going on. Okay, people, there's something going on. The devil is a lie. Who is not letting me do this? All right, we're going to log off.